The Mercedes-Benz GLA-Class is in its second generation and succeeds a very popular and high-selling car worldwide. Its India debut took longer than expected due to the pandemic, but the family is finally here and in full force. So India gets this lineup. There is the range-topping Mercedes-AMG GLA-35 that you saw first and exclusive on CarAndBike. And the regular GLA gets 3 variants. There are 2 diesels with the same engine but with different specs and trim. And this, the GLA 200, which is a petrol. The GLA 200 gets the progressive line trim, and so it's a sexy front grille and the 18-inch wheels. Inside too, there is a different color scheme with a light palette, 4 wood tones, and yet you do get the complete technology suite you'd expect from a Mercedes.
Now, a lot of brands will swear by diesel when it comes to SUVs in particular. That's understandable. But when it comes to compact SUVs, well, then petrol starts to play a very important role. And especially for an entry premium car like this one. Well, don't forget, a lot of buyers here prefer to drive themselves. They may not be using a chauffeur or a driver. And so then petrol takes on an increased significance.
And a lot of brands in this consideration set, even the mass ones, have gone petrol only in India. Don't forget. Like on the A-Class sedan, the GLA 200 gets the smallest petrol engine in the global lineup. A smart and brave decision from Mercedes-Benz India, quite frankly. That means a 1.3-litre 4-cylinder engine that gives you a healthy 161 bhp and a meaty 250 Nm of peak torque. The transmission is a 7-speed dual clutch, and that mileage figure sure is rather attractive for a car this size. The engine is certainly not exhilarating, but it is smooth and efficient. It's also very refined, so barring the times you want aggressively dynamic response, it will also do the job well. It will rev a lot, and you'll have to drop gears quickly for an instant response. But this is not a fast car, though its top speed is 210 km per hour. If you want something punchy, well, there's the AMG model, the GLA-35. The car handles well though, and the steering feel and ride quality give you plenty to celebrate about. There is also no all-wheel drive on this variant, and so it's obvious the idea was to have an attractive pricing for the entry GLA variant.
So the GLA is not just a family favorite for us here at CarAndBike, very popular car for Mercedes-Benz India. The only thing that kind of went against the last generation, a lot of people said it didn't have that SUV proportion. It didn't have that stance. That's changed dramatically with this second generation car for sure. And then you know what? Last time we had to wait for the facelift. We had to wait a long time to get the 4MATIC, which really sort of proves its SUV-ness. This time, we get the 4MATIC at the start, Shams.
Yes, Siddharth, and with the AMG line, to me looks more appealing for sure. Gets more features as well, and yes, a diesel engine still appeals to a lot more people, especially in the luxury segment.
The diesel in the pack gets the all-too familiar drivetrain. The 2-litre OM654 engine makes 188 brake horsepower, and you get a juicy 400 Nm of torque that kicks in nice and low at 1600 RPM and has a generous band.
So there are 2 variants on the diesel, the 220D progressive line and the 220D 4MATIC AMG line. This AMG line certainly looks racier, and yes, the 4MATIC gives it more of an SUV edge. And yes, this one is also longer than the progressive line by 26 millimeters.
The AMG line gives you edgier styling with a diamond grille, sportier bumpers, spoilers and diffuser. Like the 200, you get the smart roof rails and panoramic sliding sunroof.
So let me quickly take you through the differences between this AMG line and the progressive trim on the GLA. What you get here is this Artico Dynamica combination all around you. Definitely looks sportier than the other variants. There you get an open pore walnut trim. Here you get an AMG line with this faux aluminium here on the doors, on the dash, and finally a flat bottom steering wheel, red stitching, something that always works really well with the enthusiasts.
Yes, and that is akin to the interior of the actual AMG model, the GLA 35 of course.
The petrol we have on the GLA is supposed to be a frugal entry-level model. But when you want more performance, you have to look towards this diesel. The torque delivery here is quite smooth and the response from the drivetrain is also quite punchy. In fact, when you compare all the variants, this is the quickest of the lot. If you remove the AMG, of course, does speeds of 0 to 100 km per hour in 7.3 seconds. And of course, you have the paddle shifts to play with.
Yes, the diesel 4MATIC is agile, quick and very much in keeping with the butch SUV character of grunt and go. The ample torque and decent power is great, even on the two-wheel drive variant. The car also handles well and the extra heft gives the steering a sharper feel and better feedback than on the petrol. The GLA 4MATIC comes with an off-road mode. The 4MATIC splits torque between the front and back 50-50 in off-road mode. But still, the car will only do fine on rough and broken roads, as also some mild off-road driving. This is not a hardcore off-roader.
The hallmarks of the new GLA has to be its fantastic ride quality. You expect that from any Merc, more so from a new generation, and the GLA delivers on that. In fact, when you compare this to some of the other rivals of the GLA that are sold in the market right now, like the X1 or the Volvo XC40, this one is a step higher and gives you really plush ride quality.
The GLA is the right size and segment for the Indian entry premium market. Of course, prices in general across the board have increased steadily over the past few years. But given that, the entire GLA family is priced reasonably attractively. The prices at launch were a tad lower, by the way, but this is where things stand as of now. It is a very good spread on offer too, variant-wise, and having the locally made entry AMG variant is the joker in the pack, as it offers a car that is fun, dynamic and reasonably aggressive while still offering over 13 kilometers per litre and staying within reach on price. So the GLA class is surely a welcome addition to India's entry premium segment.